Good evening and welcome to the Ncwlife Evening News for the second day of November 2018. In for the vacationing Grant Olson, I'm Eric Granstrom. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And, well, the skies cleared, and that is because of the winds we had that have swept through the valley today and are beginning on their diminish. We had a high wind warning until 5 o'clock this afternoon, so that's just wrapping up. Still some gusty winds here in the Wenatchee Valley, and it's certainly flushing out the rains we had earlier today. Pretty heavy rains in some locations that caused some minor street flooding and such. There you can see our winds through the afternoon and evening here this evening. The basin really getting the brunt of this storm moving through today with winds gusting in the upper 40s in some locations, diminishing as you head east towards the Idaho Panhandle, but definitely a windy day. Now, what does that mean as far as our weekend is concerned? Well, we're going to get a mixed bag of rain in the mountains and lots of rain. In fact, in some locations in the Cascades, they're saying maybe a foot of rain. That's right, 12 inches of rain over the next several days. Now, for us, we're in that rain shadow, so things are going to be pretty good here in the Wenatchee Valley with dry conditions. We'll get you complete details on your forecast a little bit later on. Now, a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The city of Leavenworth will be looking for a new administrator soon. We'll learn why a Yakima Nation leader was denied access to the U.S. Supreme Court. And it looks like weather caused an accident earlier today near Rock Island. First, we begin tonight. A Washington State apple industry official says shipments thus far have eclipsed last year's crop movement numbers. John Devaney is the chairman of the Washington State Tree Fruit Association in Yakima.
Our season to date at this point is 14.8 million boxes shipped already of the 2018 crop. And at this point last year, we were at just right around 14. So we're up about 5.9% in shipments overall on a smaller crop. So that's a sign of good movement. Now, our industry is still working on pricing because the target moved a little bit. So our sales folks and shippers set their pricing expecting 131 million boxes and then had to revise that downward. So it takes a little while for the pricing to catch up with what the total expected supply is.
This season, the state produced about 116 million boxes of fruit, which was down from last year's 137 million box crop. Devaney says there is a lot of uncertainty over ongoing trade dispute with China, which could impact export sales, but he said growers are hopeful that stability will be restored in a potential new trade agreement with Canada and Mexico.
Access remain consistent or not. So having some predictability matters a great deal. So while the new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement doesn't really make a lot of changes directly related to our industry, it would restore some stability in just knowing that that agreement will remain in place relative to agricultural products and tree fruit, and that our growers will be able to have access to what are still two of our most important markets going forward.
We will have more next week when the updated shipping numbers will be released. Leavenworth City Administrator Joe Walensky says he will be leaving his post at the end of January to tend to out-of-state family matters.
I've been for probably the last, well, actually 6 months, year, working and having some, I'll just say it, family issues that are out of state, and been kind of traveling back and forth and back. And doing this, and I need to focus more time on that. So I've told Sherry, our mayor, that I'll be leaving the end of January of 2019. They're hoping to start up the search process, and hopefully there can be all assist them on working their way through that process. Ultimately, it's the mayor's decision, but I know she wants a lot of input from the community and the city council on who the successor will be.
The 63-year-old Walensky was hired by Leavenworth in 2002 after serving as city administrator in Northfield, Minnesota. He said he has enjoyed his time in Leavenworth city government.
Oh, it's a great place to work, and I'm still very much interested in what happens with the city, and also, you know, very interesting job, and I really enjoy what I do. From my perspective, though, to do a good job, and this is just, this is me, to do a good job and to be the best asset for the city in this position, I have to have a lot of focus on the job, and with what else I have going on right now, I can't put that dedication into it.
Walensky said he has no immediate plans to move out of the city, but will be out of town for a time. Well, a Yakama Nation leader was denied entry into the U.S. Supreme Court chambers this week when he refused to remove his headdress. The tribe has expressed its objections in a news release. Chairman Jody Gowdy was at the court to attend a hearing concerning fuel taxes and whether the tribe must pay them when fuel is delivered onto the reservation. But when he attempted to enter the courtroom, he was stopped by a security officer. Gowdy captured the incident in a video he shared on his Facebook page.
So the court is not to be subject to outside influence. So the court hears a case based on rule of law. The headdress itself will not be allowed inside the courtroom because it draws attention to you. Plus, you've been advised as well that the headdress is not permitted. The attire, otherwise attire is fine, but the headdress itself will not be permitted. Plus, we have decorum issues in the courtroom as well as obstruction for other people that are trying to watch court. But the main overall thing is that we do not want to draw attention to a particular case or a particular litigant in the case, so that the court is not influenced by that.
Okay.
All right?
For the record, I'm being denied access to the Supreme Court.
You are not being denied access to the Supreme Court.
If I do not take off my headdress.
Correct. You can go inside the courtroom without the headdress, correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right?
All right, I appreciate it.
Okay, very good.
Now, afterwards, Gowdy said he refused to take off the traditional regalia. He had made it inside the hearing room. Gowdy would have watched the justices debate a number of issues affecting his people's way of life. Their questions focused on whether the state of Washington can impose a fuel tax on a business owned by a tribal citizen. Well, State Trooper John Bryant shared this photo of a box truck that crashed on State Route 28 near Rock Island earlier today. He described it as a non-injury accident. Traffic was slowed after the roadway narrowed down to one lane until the wreckage was removed. Well, coming up next, today's storm is helping snowmaking at Mission Ridge. The 8th congressional race in Washington has become the country's most expensive and an interesting approach to the 13th District House seat race. I'm Eric Granstrom. You're watching the Ncwlife Evening News.
Eastern Washington. It's a great place to call home and a great time to own a home. It's the ideal place to lay down roots for your family and your future. Gisa Credit Union thinks Eastern Washington is a great place to own a home too. That's why we offer all kinds of home loans with personal attention every step of the way. We're your home. For home loans, we're Gisa Credit Union.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Hey everyone, so today I'm tackling Medical Assistant Ninja, trying to get that next level career. Man, this dead-end job is holding me back. Decision time, I'm going charter college. Now I'm a medical assistant student. Rocking it? Yeah, earned the President's Award. Score! Took my career to the next level. Hey, I can level up to Medical Assistant Ninja, so can you. Get on it.
Welcome back to this Friday edition of the Ncwlife Evening News. I'm Eric Granstrom. Well, the winter weather has arrived at Mission Ridge Ski and Board Resort. Ski Hill spokesman Tony Hickok says they fired up the snow cannons at midnight last night and were receiving some natural snowfall earlier today.
Yeah, Yeah, we are. You know, this storm that everyone's experiencing down in town has definitely brought in the snow. It started snowing here about an hour ago, Friday morning, and really big flakes up at the top of the mountain. That's always exciting. We like to see Mother Nature and the Mission Ridge snowmaking crew getting after it at the same time.
Now, Mission Ridge traditionally opens the season on Thanksgiving holiday weekend, but he adds that their permit allows them to open earlier if conditions warrant. So ski bums right now crossing their fingers. With control of the U.S. House of Representatives potentially hanging in the balance, money has begun pouring into Washington's 8th congressional district race between Republican Dino Rossi and Democrat Dr. Kim Schreier. In fact, MarketWatch.com, which tracks spending in all federal races, says the Rossi-Schreier race is the most expensive House race in the nation at $25.6 million spent thus far. Of that, $16.3 million has been spent by outside groups. The 8th Congressional District was created in 2012 by the Washington State Redistricting Commission and stretches across the mountains to include traditionally Republican counties Chelan and Kittitas as part of traditionally Democratic counties Pierce and King. Republican Representative Dave Reichert has held the seat since its inception but decided not to seek re-election this year. Well, meanwhile, Republican State Representative Matt Manweller says he'll resign if he's elected to another term, but that hasn't stopped the Republican Party from campaigning for him. Manweller's campaign website automatically redirects visitors to the Kittitas County GOP site, where voters are urged to check the Manweller box in the race for the 13th legislative district seat. Manweller was fired from his teaching job at Central Washington University after an investigation into sexual misconduct allegations. His opponent on the ballot is Democrat Sylvia Hammond. If Manweller wins, then resigns, Republicans will choose his replacement. They've already begun that process by narrowing a finalist list down to 3. The Ellensburg Daily Record reports the party's first choice is Danny Stone, a wheat farmer and pastor. Also being considered are Alex Ibarra, a Quincy School Board member, and Ian Elliott, a former state lawmaker. You're watching the Ncwlife Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the Ncwlife Evening News. Stay with us.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Just as the cool mornings and evenings are returning to our valley, Carrier and Alpine Air are offering best-in-class rebates and promotions to keep your home comfortable and safe this winter. Call for your free estimate today. Ask about rebates to $1,650 and low interest, low payment financing. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call 662-6846. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in Wenatchee. Only the best.
Dear Mary Maids, please clean the kitchen, and the cabinets, and the floors, and the chairs. And I wish you could clean the dog. Colin is now feeding himself. Thanks, Megan.
Hi, Megan. No worries. We got it all cleaned up. Let's hope Colin gets past the spaghetti flinging stage soon. Till then, we've got you covered. See you next time. Mary Maids.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in Wenatchee. Only the best.
Welcome back to the Ncwlife Evening News. In our feature tonight, the Wenatchee Valley is blessed with a number of small mom-and-pop businesses that often go about their daily work unnoticed. Bub's Barber Shop is one of those businesses. The little two-chair shop located on South Wenatchee Avenue harkens back to a simpler time in life, as Ncwlife's Steve Hare learned when he stopped in for a little off the top.
Did my haircut here at Bud's, downtown Wenatchee on South Wenatchee Avenue. Bud's not with us anymore, but I'll tell you what, Connie does a darn good job of cutting hair.
Thank you.
And what's the secret to being a good barber?
I think you got the secret, because as long as you're filming my haircut, I got to be real particular with you. No, you gotta listen to what the customer wants, and you gotta be able to BS a whole lot.
I was gonna say, what is it about a barbershop where people feel so comfortable just,
I think it's one of the
sharing their lives? And
I think it's one of the last places you really don't have to stress too much about being politically correct, and about any hobby you're interested in. There's someone in there that either knows about it or wants to know about it. So.
I'll bet politics is a good source of conversation down here at Buzz.
It really is. It stays pretty calm, but I've had people walk out angry before they even got their hair cut.
You try to stay as neutral as possible then?
I try. I don't succeed, but I try. I'm a female. You know I have opinions.
Oh, of course. And the guy that's sitting here in the chair has to be careful about his opinion while you're cutting it.
Well, no, because he hasn't paid me yet.
Oh, okay.
No, it stays, everybody's pretty tense about things though right now, so you do see it in here a little less so than other places, but like I said, I have had some serious arguments, one fist fight.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, no kidding. No kidding, yeah. Kind of called it a draw, but I love this job because it's a little bit of everything. A little bit of fishing, hunting, sports. Sometimes these guys get going on their grandkids more than I would.
Well, I don't want to get you embroiled in the political debate right now, but let's say if Donald Trump walked through the door of Bud's Barbershop right now, what would you do with his hair?
Oh, I've dreamed of that. I certainly wouldn't turn the ceiling fan on. No, that'd be going super short.
Okay.
Super short, all over.
Well, thanks a lot.
And we actually started a poll around the office to see when it would be that Steve would finally get his haircut. All right, before we get to our forecast and what was happening today, let's take a look out the weather window thanks to the gang at Sky-Fi Wireless Internet from LocalTel. And as you can see, things got a lot better today. Now, hopefully you weren't outside earlier because we had a deluge of rain. We had lots of wind. In fact, some of that wind is still prevailing here across north central Washington. We'll get you details on your forecast coming up in just a moment. Let's see, as far as our almanac is concerned today, 62. So, and I think 62 was kind of the temperature all day long until that sun came out here this afternoon. It'll get a little cooler tonight, but when I walked outside the house this morning, I swear it felt like it was 60 degrees. But 62, our high today, 43. The overnight low, that was about 3 o'clock in the morning earlier today. The normal this time of year, as you can see, we're well above that, about 11 degrees above the normal for this time of year and much warmer than the nighttime lows that we normally see at 35. 63, the record high that was set back in 1987. See, I was just out of high school, first year of college about then. 17, the record low, 2002. That stretch of cold weather continued back about 16 years ago. The rains did present copious amounts in the mountains especially, but also right here in the Wenatchee Valley. As you see, we got the latest rain gauges say about 0.14 of an inch today, so just over a tenth. That brings our total, we're edging up towards 6 inches for the year so far, and we do have more rain on the way this weekend, so maybe we'll nudge up towards that 6-inch set. 7:46 our sunrise today, the sun set at 5:42. As we set things in motion with our surface loop here, you get a good indication of what was happening. This was earlier today in the noon hour, so this was just on the back half of that big storm cell that moved through earlier today, and it was pushed, as you see out on the coast here, by a lot of wind, and that's what came through our area here throughout central Washington and the basin. Now here's what we can look out for tomorrow. We're going to get another little pattern that comes through Saturday night into Sunday morning, and it's going to drop some more pretty good precipitation. We could see at least over 1/10 of an inch of rain by Sunday morning. As we get back to work on Monday, however, we have a high pressure system that's building back up here in north central Washington and across the state. Really, we're going to see mild conditions, dry temperatures, or dry conditions, and also maybe some temperatures dipping into the 30s at nighttime. Election Day Tuesday going to be fantastic with beautiful blue skies and sunshine for Election Day next Tuesday. Now, as we get to the end of the week, I don't see it mentioned in the forecast anywhere yet, but look at this. See all that? That's snow, and there's snow right here for Wenatchee. So we'll have to see about that, but that's next Friday. So let's put the whole thing in motion here. You see this band of moisture that came through the area and just swept right across us here today. We are going to see some gusty winds off and on overnight hours on the weekend. So tonight into tomorrow morning, Saturday night into Sunday morning, that's going to also bring some moisture with it. So we'll talk about that with your forecast. But that's kind of a peek ahead as far as what's happening with the pressure systems here in the region and across the state of Washington. Let's take a look at our quick lube and tune forecast now as we head into the evening hours tonight. As we mentioned, the rains have pretty much stopped for the afternoon today. 62 the expected high today. We did reach that. 43 will be our overnight low. Tomorrow we're going to see clouds and showers mainly in the morning hours early and then in the evening hours as we head back into Sunday. 57 our high on Saturday, 58 for the high on Sunday. Again, showers in the morning, but then clearing in the afternoon. So if you have anything planned for this weekend out of doors, you want to be doing it Saturday midday or Sunday later in the mid-morning to the mid-afternoon. As we look into next week, and that's when we're going to get that drying weather, and we're going to get a little bit colder as well. High temperatures should still be fairly mild, but we're going to get back to more towards normal with highs in the upper 40s to low 50s. Nighttime lows in the upper 30s to start the week. We're going to drop down around freezing by Wednesday or Thursday. And as I mentioned, we have another big low system that looks like it's mapping towards us by the end of next week. We're still going to have some of that cold air mass here in north central Washington, so we'll keep a lookout for maybe our first snow of the season. That's your forecast here on the Ncwlife channel. I'll be back with sports on the way next.
Thanks to the help I received at Goodwill,
I have a job. I'm working now. Thanks to Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to get you back to work. When you donate to or shop at Goodwill, you're really helping people find work.
Thank you. Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
Sir, I pulled you over today to ask you one thing. Is it true that Apple Valley Honda has a free lifetime warranty on every new Honda?
Officer, I'm glad you asked. Our lifetime warranty comes free on all of our new Hondas. That means you won't have to pay a dime for any major expenses. That could save you thousands. And no, you do not have to service with us. It's a great peace of mind, officer.
Wow, my wife and I have wanted the new Accord. We'll see you this weekend.
And now it's a sports update on the Ncwlife channel.
And a happy finally Friday. The Eastmont Wildcats are the Big Nine champions after a 14-13 win in the 50th Bridge of Sportsmanship game with the Wenatchee Panthers last night. A packed Lee Bofto field of the Apple Bowl treated to a classic. Eastmont went out to a 14-0 lead. Wenatchee cut the lead to 14-7 at half. A scoreless third quarter would lead to an exciting fourth quarter. We had the game live right here on the Ncwlife channel. Let's pick up with the highlights as Phil Zakowski and I had your play-by-play.
And it is no good! No good! It missed it left! Second down, 11 from the 36. Everhart fakes the handoff, wants to throw downfield. He's got a man, but it's picked off by Dalton Thomas to the 30 on the return. Thomas looking for a block to the 35, going to be tackled down right there, but Dalton Thomas steps in front of a man that looked like he was wide open. The interception, momentum heavily for the Panthers. But the Panthers, trailing by one, want to press the issue here. Sermon looks right, has pressure, looks back left, now throws and overthrows his intended receiver. And a good job, of coverage as well as pressure by the Eastmont defense. Max Frazier and company getting in there. Turns, hands it off, first man. Carson Talley has a gap to the 40, 45, and it fumbles the football. It's picked up by Wenatchee. Back the other way come the Panthers, and Wenatchee will have the football on the fumble recovery by Jackson Bowles. Nate Blauman asking for the fans to get behind him here. He's been a workhorse here in the second half. Maybe he's going to get the handoff again. He will. Eastmont smells it out and makes the tackle for a loss on the play. Shooting the gap and making the stop, the sophomore Max Frazier. They'll put it at the 27. A 37-yard field goal by Fadas Nassam. The spot by Mason Brown. The snap is back. The spot down. The kick away. No way. Turn. Fake the handoff and then handoff to Massey. Massey's got room and he is going to be close. It's going to depend on the spot. He was across the 45. So close. So close. Could it come down to a spot to determine this one? First down, Eastmont. Meanwhile, for the Eastmont Wildcats, they won't have to worry about a mini playoff on Saturday. They can get themselves ready for the first round of the State 4A tournament as Eastmont has won its first Big Nine championship since 2012. The Wildcats are the Big Nine champions. What a game last night. Nate Blauman led the Panthers with 116 yards on 31 carries. Kalen Massey, 58 yards on 14 carries. Carson Talley rushed for 18 times, 64 yards and a touchdown for Eastmont. Massey also collected that 63-yard touchdown reception. Camden Sermon scored both Wenatchee touchdowns and was 7 of 18 passing for 40 yards. Eastmont improved to 9-1 on the season with a win and now awaits its seeding Sunday to find out whom they'll play in the first round of the State 4A tournament. Wenatchee finishes the season 6-7. By the way, we'll rebroadcast that game tonight, 6 o'clock, right here on the NCWLife channel. It's also already up on our website if you want to stream it on demand at ncwlife.com. Coming up on the prep football schedule tonight, Cashmere is on the road at Lakeside 9 Mile Falls while Cascade plays at Deer Park. Chelan has a 7 o'clock kickoff at Medical Lake while Republic hosts Entiat hosts Republic. On the volleyball schedule tonight, Eastmont celebrates its senior nights with Moses Lake in town at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, Chelan hosts Colville while Cascade travels to Lakeside 9 Mile Falls at 1 o'clock in the CTL Northeast A Glue crossover games. Turning to soccer, Eastmont plays for the Big Nine District Championship tomorrow at West Valley at 1 o'clock. Cascade has a noon kickoff at Lakeside 9 Mile Falls, and Freeman plays at Cashmere at 1. These are the CTL Northeast A Glue crossover games with the winner going on to state. The loser season is done. The Wenatchee Wild look to bounce back tonight against the West Kelowna Warriors in BCHL play. They'll drop the puck at the Town Toyota Center at 7 o'clock and then host Powell River Kings tomorrow night at 7. College football slate tomorrow. It begins at 11 o'clock. Eastern Washington travels to Northern Colorado while Central Washington's at Southwest Baptist. Again, both those games kick off at 11 o'clock. Washington limps back home to face Stanford at 6 on the Pac-12 network. And number 8, Washington State Cougars host the upstart Cal Bears in Pullman. 7:45 kickoff on ESPN. The Seahawks home on Sunday hosting the L.A. Chargers. Phillip Rivers and the Bolts off to a 5-2 start, while the Seahawks are looking for a very good at 4-3 kickoff Sunday at CenturyLink Field, set for 1:05 on CBS. That's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Monday morning with your host, Dan Kuntz. I'm Eric Granstrom. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
This is TV. This is TV Set Free. TV everywhere from Localtel sets you free to watch what you want, where you want. Catch your favorite networks, including live TV, ready to watch on any web-connected device for no extra charge. That's TV set free. Enjoy the extra value Localtel delivers with TV everywhere. Visit localtel.net and sign up today.